Wipe that smile off your face. We're here to John Knight from Display Power.
Mark, thanks for the invitation.
It's a pleasure to have you here. If only you return some of your calls, but we'll talk about that later. 13 years, an overnight success. Well, not quite, but...
No, 13 years and, you know, just keep chipping away.
And chipping away. Yeah. But from a startup, because I thought your presence is big enough to belie. I think you've done a great job to build the visibility to where it is. And we might leap around a bit here while I've given you questions. We're just talking about customer service and the fact that the boss is about to deliver something to Tamworth. Because that's when the client needs it. Is that a fundamental value you think you've stitched into Display?
Look, it's something that's critical. So much of what we do is time sensitive, and you know, it has to be there. Otherwise, it doesn't have value. So there are the occasions you just get in a situation because of production times or artwork difficulties, you know, where time shrinks, and so you do whatever it takes to achieve the result for the client.
It's a great line, whatever it takes for a client. Yeah. Looking back over those 13 years of building the success, which will come soon, I'm sure, are there one or two strategies? Client service is one strategy. Is there another strategy that you've relied on?
Yes, look, I guess going back to the early days, we've always believed in technology as the underpinning things of the type of production that we manufacture, and having good equipment that goes the distance is important.
Let's talk about some of that stuff, because it is you have leading edge facilities up there at West Gosford now for
possibly more than most people realise.
Indeed. So here's your opportunity. We may charge you for this if you go into too much detail. But you do wraps, and when I say wraps, they are vehicle wraps, and you can capable of doing all of that sort of stuff. What else?
Yes, we're really in 5 markets. You know, a major market for us is point of sale production, and that's our true national market, where we manufacture here and ship and install nationally in all states. And we've undertaken some fairly large projects over the years. Where,
for example?
Well, we had the opportunity to deck out the windows for AVC bookshops, and 44 of them across the country in a very tight timeline.
See, I need to correct you, John. You don't get the opportunity. You create the opportunity, young man. You create the opportunity because you've got the right mentality. You've got the right approach. That's a cool thing, and we don't celebrate our industries on the Central Coast anywhere near enough, John. You know, that needs celebration. So,
but it's also about the support you get from, I guess, alliances that you build along the way, and the trust that people have in you to deliver on time. And we put a lot of emphasis on delivering on time within our ability and the information we're given. So,
do you have alliances that you work with here on the coast as well, or are most of your alliances with major clients? And
no, we have a mix. You know, a good base of support on the Central Coast, but having said that, some 60% of our work is still out of town and national.
John, technology, you can be at the bleeding edge of technology, and it costs everyone a lot of money. But it is a critical part, as you've said, of moving forward. How do you manage that risk involved, and how do you research and develop a position that, you know, a pathway of development?
The good Lord has a role in that. But back in our early history, we were fortunate enough to be introduced to the New South Wales Enterprise Workshop. And that's a great course that's run by some, I guess, senior business people that devote themselves to helping new businesses develop and to understanding, you know, some of the strategies that should be considered. And we put our business and a team of ours through that, and that gave us some good foundations to work off.
But I think that's still available.
It is still available, and I'd highly recommend it to anybody that's a little entrepreneurial that wants to get some help along the way.
Okay. Well, I think that process of thinking about the stuff before you actually try and do it is a critical part, and by the sound of it, that's what the enterprise group did.
Well, it does, but it also takes existing businesses and helps to analyse where they're going and to try and point them in the right direction.
Okay, okay. With regard to the next 12 months, do you have a strategy or a goal that you would like to see achieved within the next 12 months?
Oh, look, it's an ongoing strategy. I guess as far as the next 12 months is concerned, it's really important that we're taking stock of where we are, where the industry's moving, what the risks are, how we mitigate those risks, and you know, where the technology's going and where the market is going, so that we're ahead of the game rather than in catch-up.
Yeah. And you can say, I don't want to answer this, Mark. What are you? You're 52, 53? You must be thinking about an escape. Do you think it is? All right, you might be a fraction older. I don't know.
Try 60.
What's the? Do you have a plan that takes that far, John? Or
you mean the next 10-year plan?
Yeah, the next 10-year plan. Yeah.
Oh, there's a time everybody has to exit. We'll choose that time.
And I'll leave it at that, because unannounced, that's cool. Work-life balance. You work for a wonderful boss in Sue. Yeah, I'm sure she looks after her staff.
She's magnificent.
She may even be watching, so you've got to say. Husband and wife are working together. Does that give you work-life balance, or?
It does give us the opportunity to see each other.
And I'm not even silly enough to say, does that deliver balance? But
it's our biggest challenge, actually, and I think most people in small to medium business relate to that. Mm-hmm. You know, you carry the responsibilities of making sure that you know, things are happening.
You could actually sleep in the same bed without knives under the pillow. I'm reflecting on running 2 coffee shops with my wife, and you use the word challenge. I like challenge. I think opportunity is another one that springs to mind when you work with your wife. Not your, but you know what I mean. Do you have specific roles? Obviously, you're the driver because you've got to drive to Tamworth and deliver stuff today. But when it comes down to
that's the exception rather than the rule.
Is that right?
Yes,
I'm not surprised to hear that. How do you break the rules, the roles up? Are there natural demarcations where your skills are such and Sue's skills are such?
Yeah, Sue's you know, essentially carries the responsibility of the office and administration. Whereas I get more involved in production and strategy and I guess the marketing and advertising side in support of the team that we've got. We've got a great team, and we couldn't do it by ourselves.
Yeah. And how many do you have on staff up there?
We've got 10 all told, including 2 casuals.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Here's the opportunity, the rant, and you can't mention your boss in this, okay? She will watch this right to the end. If you could change something in business generally, or here on the coast specifically, John, what would that be? What would you like to get on your soapbox and talk about?
Yeah, look, I've got a couple of soapboxes, but the one that I find of greatest frustration these days is the regulation that is consistently imposed. You know, we work under, I guess, continuing regulations that are imposed on all aspects of business and life in many aspects, and in some cases they've taken away the ability of people to be self-reliant and to be responsible and to have faith in people to do the right thing without having to be totally regulated in every aspect.
Can we do anything?
To give you an example,
please.
You know, most shopping centres you go into these days to do even minimal tasks, you have to do an induction. Now, that induction's got to be done on site, and it's something that often takes time at a time of the centre's choosing. We can go into 3 or 4 centres in a day, you know, and have to undertake all sorts of requirements just to put up a simple decal. Now, you know, okay, it's designed, you know, to protect the centre for the major things that can happen, but there's no there's no grey.
Visiting 4 centres to carry out a job that could take 10 minutes.
Exactly.
It's 40 minutes, and all of a sudden turns into a full day's task.
And clients can't be expected to wear that cost, but other people expect them to, and it's just unrealistic. Yeah. They're the sorts of beefs that.
Do you have another one? I like that one, so you can have it.
Oh no, I'm getting away from my industry there, but I come out of a rural background, and I'm becoming more and more conscious of the great, I guess, rural land that we're seeing disappear. And even here on the Central Coast, we've got some fantastic areas that were once, great food production areas that are now under concrete slab.
But hopefully there's also acreage we can turn into a food bowl as well.
But that's for a long discussion, that one.
We might have to have a red wine. John Knight, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome, Mark.
Okay.
Lovely to talk with you.
Thanks a lot.